Hello, I'm Abigail Somerville with the Rockbridge Report. Today, I have the chance to sit and chat with Stephanie Wilkinson, the Executive Director of Main Street Lexington. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with us today.
Thanks, I love being here.
So my first question is, you helped start Main Street Lexington and became its Executive Director in 2014. Why did you decide to get involved with the organization?
Well, downtown Lexington had had a Main Street organization for 20 years, but in the mid-'80s to about 2006, and then it kind of died and went away. So for about 7 years we didn't have a Main Street program, and these are really, really helpful programs for downtown. So I had owned a business, I do own a business, I own the Red Hen restaurant here in town, and I knew that we really did need kind of an organization that would promote the interests of downtown. So I became involved on a volunteer basis. It was clearly somewhat self-involved because I had a business and cared about it, but also I really wanted to see Lexington kind of rise again as a really fun and interesting and cool place to be. So a group of ladies who had known about the Main Street program in other places had come together and said, let's try to do it again here. And we got a lot of interest, a lot of volunteers, and we just sort of started up that way. It was great.
And as a owner of a business downtown, can you describe the business climate in Lexington?
Right now, or when it went back then?
Right now.
I would say that people are feeling pretty positive about the business climate right now. We had a couple of things happen in 2014 that really made a difference. We had some private investment in downtown, particularly the two hotels that opened up, the George's and the Robert E. Lee Hotel. Those had a big kind of bolstering effect on the economy, because having a downtown hotel means there are more people around at more times of the day. You have people who are there on the weekends, Sundays, times when Lexington had, in my memory, been often very quiet and sort of seemed a little bit, you know, dead. So having those has helped a lot, but also we've seen some business turnover, which is a natural thing that happens in places, but that encourages more livelihood. Having more sort of different things happen, more nightlife has been really helpful for the environment downtown.
And the downtown is changing with some stores closing. How have you kept your business open and thriving while others have closed in recent years?
Well, I think I tend to like to stress that, and this is not just me saying this, other people who have been in the downtown Lexington scene for a long time would agree that turnover is a kind of natural thing. There are the phases of life of a business like there are the phases of life of a person. Some people, yes, they don't make it because their business concept wasn't right, didn't fit the environment, or they couldn't commit to it. Sometimes there's some personal things in people's lives that make them shut a business. But for several of our businesses that have closed recently, their lifespan was just sort of done. You know, the owners wanted to move on and do something else. It wasn't because the businesses are failing, but because it is time for them to do something else. So I think that we still have a vibrant business scene here. As you know, retail is a really hard business in a community of our size, or basically any community now with online shopping. But people still really want to shop. They still really want to come out and have the experience of shopping. And we're really fortunate in Lexington because the kind of shopping experience they want is the personal, you know, your store owner might know you, they're friendly, unique stuff, that kind of thing. So we are in a good position for business here.
And Main Street Lexington has provided business seminars for some business owners downtown. Can you give some examples of those seminars?
Yeah, so last winter, we put together a seminar, a 10-week seminar for our retailers. Just as I was just describing about how hard it is to be a retailer in this environment, we realize that the changing shape of retail means that you can't just be a business that offers a good price and nice customer service. If you're going to really make it in retail now, you have to become a destination. You have to be the kind of shop that people say, even if I live in Stanton and I have a game shop in Stanton, I'm going to go to Lexington for the game shop there because of X, Y, or Z. You have to find some unique thing that makes you a destination. So we started this 10-week program called Destination Retail, and we had about 12 of our downtown retailers go through it, and we just had them think really hard about what kind of thing could they focus on that would make them a destination. And then after that, at the end of that program, they all got very small grants of money to implement some idea that they had. So for instance, Hess Jeweler decided that's an old bank building, and so they have a vault, and they turned it into this exclusive little, almost like a club-like feeling room where you could come in and look at, say you wanted to buy an engagement ring or something, you would have this wonderful little kind of room to look at all these things in a private setting, maybe be offered a beverage or something like that. So that kind of thing. We had one of our retailers do a video, the chocolate shop, a video monitor to show the chocolate being made, which happens downstairs out of the sight of customers. But that's the kind of thing that you would think, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to go into that shop to see that. So that was one kind of business training program that we put on.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
How have you balanced revitalizing the economy of downtown while preserving its unique history?
I think Lexington's unique history sort of sells itself because of the beautiful setting that we have. Part of the Main Street concept is economic revitalization in the context of historic preservation, which basically means that we try to do things that promote the beautiful fabric that we have downtown, the buildings. We have a sign and awnings grant where we help businesses if they need a new sign, help them pay for a new sign. The Lexington Historic Society has a facade grant, so they try to help people preserve the look of these buildings. So I think that that's helpful. We have a whole design committee that's interested in beautification. We put planters on the streets and benches and just take great pride in this beautiful thing that we have been bequeathed and just want to pass along. Mm-hmm. So it's important for sure.
And when you look out onto Main Street today, can you see concrete changes that have occurred because of Main Street Lexington's efforts?
I do see, I think the things I was just talking about in terms of the beautification has helped. We do this program in the spring called Lexington in Bloom, where we match up a master gardener with a shop owner, and they give them a little bit of money to just spruce up the front of their stores with greenery and things like that. The street trees and the planters are helpful. I think seeing people, but if you're saying, like, if I look out in the evening and I see people at night and on weekends really enjoying the town, and it's not a parents' weekend, it's not some thing where you normally would have a ton of people in town, that I think is a big difference. Mm-hmm. When I talk to people on the streets, I'm also part owner of the yarn shop in town, and so we have people coming in on the weekends. I work there on the weekends. It's really fun to listen to people. We always ask them, where are you from? We get these groups of people who come as a kind of a getaway from, like, last weekend it was 7 ladies from Richmond who were coming here. They had chosen Lexington as the place that they were going to come and have fun. That is a great thing, and we want more of that kind of stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned a future spring event. What are some of your upcoming ideas to promote and enhance downtown Lexington?
Well, when we do events, there are a variety of kinds of events. So we have these beloved events that bring people downtown that aren't necessarily instantly translatable into revenue for stores or restaurants. For instance, we have on the 4th of July, there's the 4th of July Children's Bike Parade. We have hundreds, if not 1,000 little kids on bikes going down Main Street, led by, Mark Klein gets up on his unicycle, and he is Uncle Sam. It's fantastic. And we have the Christmas parade in the first weekend of December. Those kinds of events are feel-good events that bring people in, get them to, look around, see what we have, but they don't instantly translate necessarily into sales. What we do otherwise are have sidewalk sales twice a year. We have Restaurant Week. The next Restaurant Week is coming up the end of February, which is always really fun. It gets people to kind of come out, maybe try something they haven't tried before. And we also then have fundraising events. There's lots of, you probably see, there's runs through the center of town. We have a Jingle Bell Run in December, and those are great. We're going to have a Rock the Bridge party in June, which is, again, brings all parts of the community, the county, the city, maybe even outside the area to Lexington to kind of, have music and food trucks and arts and crafts, and it's really a good time.
Well, that's all we have time for today, but Stephanie, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. And for the Rockbridge Report, I'm Abigail Somerville.